Good afternoon, Reps and Senators. Matt from Bristol, Connecticut. Over the last, 2 decades, there's been some 300,000 more residents left the state than come in over the last 20 years. I think with this proposed budget that you very graciously gave us an opportunity to testify about, unfortunately, we're looking at continuing that tradition, and I just can't understand why.
Unions?
When you look at the itemization, it has a drastic impact on small business, and to tie that in with the 187 of you that wander the building here, you're mostly attorneys for the most part. I mean, over 50%, real estate people, small business people, and you were gracious enough to itemize some of this stuff. Should I read it for the record? Computer data processing, public accountants, accounting services, architectural services, engineering, drafting, building inspection. I only have 3 minutes. Design services, general management, human resources, marketing, consulting, other. So on the small business side, 50% of the revenue in Connecticut, roughly, plus or minus, I don't know what the exact number is, comes from small business. And so what do we want to do? We want to make jobs. It's the soundbite in the news. But yeah, here's this.
Tax for the pensions.
Small business. Not deliberately, but it's done in place of attacking something else high profile that'll lead to a soundbite and some negative PR.
State unions.
Sarcastic. I don't mean to be sarcastic, but it's kind of the way it is. And people need to speak frankly about it. And again, thank you so much for bringing this out. So what's the other half? The other half that's not small business.
Big money.
There's an item in here about hedge funds. Of course, everybody loves to go after the hedge funds, but our governor tried this when he first came in, and had some threatening meetings, and UBS, I think, wanted to run and relocate.
Bye-bye.
But here we are with item 2, and this is one of the big kahunas. 167 million 2016, 178 million in 2017. 2% supplemental tax on capital gains.
See ya.
There's, again, about 200 hedge funds in Connecticut.
A bunch.
Plus or minus. And the people that live mostly in Fairfield County that are supporting us with jobs. But never mind the whole dynamic of that, not to be explained in the last minute that I have. But are these people providing the other half of the revenue besides small business?
Yep.
It's certainly not coming from a $500 million Ghost Rider bus way to nowhere. And thank you so much again for putting this together and listening. It's much appreciated by all of us.
Thank you, Matthew. And yes, it is all part of the democratic process to have a public hearing on these different concepts. And you were nice enough to wait around for 4.5 hours to come up and testify to get you 3 minutes. I tend to agree with you. I tend to worry about, once again, the ability for the state to fund itself if they're going to have that kind of, in essence, by default, a hostile approach towards these different industries, whether we're talking about the sales taxes that will apply to the new 27 or 28 different industries that have not been taxed before, that all contribute to the state's economy and job growth, et cetera, et cetera. But also, if you do start to scare away the tax base, the larger taxpayers, then you got a real problem here in the state of Connecticut. And your hunch of that maybe being the other 50%, other than small businesses that are picking up the tab to run state government, I think is right on the money. And I wouldn't be surprised if it is 50%. So thank you for that comment. Are there any questions or statements from anybody else on the committee?